here. We are so excited that you guys have joined us. We want to really thank Kim for overseeing this program. She is going to be kind of our parent conversations expert. So thank you so much, Kim. And Meagan is actually helping her with that. They've put a lot of work into getting this ready. So we really appreciate the two of you. And we really appreciate this. The Parent Conversations is designed to be a series of conversations where we will invite experts to address topics that you guys want to hear about. So we really want this to be parent driven. We want to bring in the experts that can answer questions that you have, discuss topics that you have. There will be a time for Q&A at the end where we want you guys to also, chime in and share your thoughts and your information. We want this to be literally what it's called, parent conversations, where we can share information, get information from the experts and whatnot. We do have, so this is being brought to us also made possible because of a grant through Bear River Health Department. So we're really grateful to the Bear River Health Department for providing the funding to make this possible. And if you guys ever have an opportunity, it's not like we run to the Bear River Health Department, but if you have an opportunity where to tell them thank you, please do let them know that we appreciate the support that they're giving. We're going to be giving away lots of fun prizes. So I want to show you this. For the next 4 weeks, we'll be focusing on teaching kids finances. We put a survey out there with all kinds of topics. Hopefully most of you had a chance to chime in on that and share the things that you want to hear about. And we'll actually have Meagan and Kim can address later if you have things that you want us to talk about, absolutely let us know. But this next month, when we put the survey out, there was the topic that came up. It actually had twice as many responses as any other topic, was on teaching kids about finances. So that's what we're going to be focusing on for this first month. We're doing a lot actually from the Smart Money, Smart Kids we're getting a lot of the information from Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruz and this program that they've done. And we have, I believe it's about 25 or 30 of these to give away. So I'm really excited about that. We also have from Dave Ramsey, we've got a bunch of Financial Peace Junior kits. So we're giving away I think we have about 15 to 20 of those to give away. So we're going to be giving away a lot of those. We also have these fun little moon jar banks that we'll be giving. I think we've got 10 to 15 of these to give away, and they're broken up here. You can see help the kids. There's some to save, share, and spend. And so that's a really fun thing. And then we have one game. This will be kind of the big grand prize. And Kim and Meagan will, figure out how we're going to determine who the grand prize winner is. This is a really fun game called the Life Card. It's in cards. I haven't played it, so I can't tell you too much about it, but we really want to, with these parent conversations, we'll be doing lots of giveaways, resources to help you. So basically, when we have a topic, whatever those topics are that you guys want to discuss, we'll bring in the experts, and then we want to give away some resources to help you guys to do that. We'll also, of course, be providing adventures, and Meagan will be talking about some of the adventures that we'll be creating. Again, as part of the Bear River Health Department grant, we'll be able to create resources to help you in these key areas. So again, thank you for being with us. We're super excited about this. Please help us spread the word so that other families can come in and be a part of these as well. And just from my Discovery Destination, thank you for being a part of our team and our family. What we do for you guys. So please let us know what you need and what we can do to better support you. Thank you.
Okay, I guess that means it's my turn, yeah?
It is your turn.
All right. Well, Shirley, thanks for that introduction to the program. My name is Meagan Waite, and Shirley mentioned that we're having experts talk. Kim Robson is our moderator. So if you have questions as we go, please enter them in the chat, and I'll pause every now and again and ask Kim to read some questions, and I'll do my best to answer. And if I can't answer, then I will do some research and we'll come back and do some questions, some answers to your questions, maybe at the beginning of next week's parent conversation, which is going to continue in the same vein, the financial teaching finances to kids. But today we're going to talk about work and responsibility. But first, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background about me, because Shirley mentioned that we're having experts talk about this. And while I do have a college degree, it is not in finance. Finance is kind of my passion. I am a single empty nester and have 4 adult daughters. And, you know, I know that each one of us probably questions sometimes if we raised our children right, but I have always said, regardless of what my kids did or did not learn that I tried to teach them, they all learned how to work. And most of them are pretty good money managers. I am completely debt-free and have been, it's been 6 or 7 years now. In fact, I didn't go back to college until after I became debt-free. So I worked lots of odd jobs my entire life and learned how to manage money, became a Dave Ramsey fan. He has a lot of influence on what I'm going to say today. But I have a real passion for helping people with their money. And my dream job would be to tell you what to do with your money. So that's kind of funny. Most people probably don't get real excited about budgets and stuff, but I do. And I have influenced people for good. In fact, a number of years ago when I paid off my house, I told my sister, and when I told my sister I just paid off my house, something clicked in her and she got totally on board, and within about 3 years became totally debt-free and was able to build a new house with her husband. And they would not have been able to do that had they not had all their other debt paid for. So yes, I have. So my experience involves kids and extended family and anybody else that'll listen to me. So, so that's kind of what qualifies me to teach this subject, is just my passion for it. So.
And Meagan, I do want to jump in for a minute here and just add to that. So I am a financial advisor. I have several financial degrees. And one of I used to spend a lot of time meeting with families and helping with finances and whatnot. And one of my most memorable appointments actually was with one of Meagan's children that I actually had known from back when Meagan and I first met through PTA. And when this particular daughter was in the PTA program. So I knew the daughter, and as I met with her and her husband to help them with their finances, that was one of the things that really popped out at me. Everything that we talked about, she was like, oh yeah, mom taught me that. Oh yes, I learned that from my mother. And of course I had known a lot about Meagan as we were doing PTA together. That was one thing I hadn't known. So that kind of, as I reached out to her later and said, hey, I know something else about you now. You did a great job teaching your kids about finances, because that was one of the most well-prepared young ladies ready to face the world because of her mother. And she very freely gave that credit to her mother. So yes, Meagan, you are very, very qualified to teach this topic.
Well,
okay, back to you.
All right. It's nice to hear when things like that come back around, and it's awesome. My kids are awesome people. So I'll have to remember to thank one of them and see if she remembers that conversation with you. But I thought I'd just start out by talking about, well, what's the big deal about work? What is the big deal about work? And I hope you don't mind that I'm using some notes, because notes not only help me, but they help everybody else know that, you know what, you can do something like this too. So if you were ever asked to talk on Zoom or shoot in front of any group of people, use notes. It's okay. It's not unprofessional to use notes. So work begets rewards. Whatever you call it, you can call it divine intervention, you can call it karma, you can call it good juju, you can even call it good luck. But you get rewards from work. Now, Thomas Jefferson once said, and I thought this was funny, I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. So it's just the way it works. Now, I believe that we can all agree that compensation comes from effort. Work is not bad. Yes, there are 4 letters in that word, but it is not a bad word. And teaching children to work is not a form of child abuse. There are many, many things that you can get from learning to work. Now, teaching your children to work is work is a basic life skill. It produces positive results. It builds character, and at my Discovery Destination, we're all about building character. It provides a sense of dignity. I remember hearing a story one time during the Depression about a family that lived on a farm, and they'd have people that were jobless come and knock on the door quite frequently and ask for food. And the mom at the house would say, yeah, I'll feed you dinner, but I need you to move that wood pile from over there to around the back. And the wood pile would continue to get moved. The mom would have given the passerby the food anyway, but she gave them the opportunity to work, to give them the dignity to earn that meal. So the pile went from the front to the back, and then from the back to the front, just to give these people something to do, to give them the dignity. It gives a good sense of completion. It instills confidence. It's a key to healthy psychological development. Basically, work is good for the soul. It's physically good for our bodies. It teaches responsibility. Work is an introduction to the real world, quite frankly. Work teaches accountability for our actions. It allows for the development of sympathy and empathy. If you are, for a couple of reasons, if you're doing physically hard things, you have an appreciation and maybe an empathy for those who have to do hard things. And if you're working with other people, you usually will gain sympathy for those that you work with, if not empathy. Work allows for satisfaction. It teaches control over outcomes. When you work, you have more control over the outcome than you do by just being a bystander. And it eventually leads to independence. Now, isn't that what we want for all of our kids? We want all of our kids to eventually grow up, be contributing members of society, and be independent of us and not live in our basement. That they need to learn to work. Now, teaching work at an early age with age-appropriate chores and tasks will establish a positive habit that children will take with them into adulthood. So we're going to talk about chores a little bit, but we're going to talk about it within the context of the money-work connection. Children need to learn that money comes from work. It does not come from mom and dad. If you don't work, you don't get any money. So I suggest assigning some chores to kids. They're going to be age appropriate. I'm going to share my screen briefly, and I'm going to show you just a snippet of, the word left me all of a sudden. Let's see. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. A graphic, that's the word I want. A graphic of age appropriate chore ideas. Now, I'm not going to give you time to write these all down. I suppose you can screenshot it or take a picture of your phone, but I will tell you later where to find this.
Meagan,
Yes.
we need to just mention to Kim, there's someone trying to get in. So Kim, if you could check that and let them in, trying to send you a message, but this might be the best way to let them in. Thank you.
Kim, did you get that?
I did, but there's nobody in the waiting room. So I don't know where they are because I've let people in, but there's nobody waiting in the waiting room. So I don't know if they're on the wrong link or what, but there's nobody waiting.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's just somebody that I'm talking with and she's trying to get in. I was having a hard time getting her the code since I'm already in the call. This is Tori Anderson Jones. Maybe if you can message me, I'll see your name. I couldn't find you in the chat list.
Me?
She's in as me. They use tech for good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will try to chat with you there then.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for that, guys. So now I'm of the opinion that children shouldn't get paid for all the chores that they do. I think there are some things that people, children included, should do in a home simply because they live there. Everybody should probably make their own bed. Everybody should clean up after themselves. Children should learn to pick up their own toys. But parents, you get to decide that. You get to decide which chores children do just because they're part of the family, and offer other chores that kids can learn to do to earn some money. Because the best way to establish this work-money connection is to pay your children for work. Let's see. A lot of parents, it used to be an allowance. You know, my mom gives me an allowance. I think an allowance teaches you that you get money just for existing. Now that's my humble opinion, but I like the work money connection ideas better, paying your children for chores and not giving them an allowance because they're there. When you pay your children, you want them to learn to allocate their money 3 ways. We have that cute little bank that we're going to be giving away during the month, and it comes divided in 3 parts. It comes in, it helps us teach our kids to save some money, to put aside some money for giving, and then put aside money to spend. If you don't have to run right out and buy a bank. You could probably find 3 jars and label them, and that would be quite helpful. But it's important that they have something that they can see. Kids are visual learners. I think most of them are. And if they can see the 3 jars, they can remember, okay, some of my money goes into each one of these jars. And then having that visual out all the time will help them. It'll just be part of their life. I am going to suggest you take it one step further by allowing your children to use part of their spending money to pay for some of their own belongings and activities. This helps them learn to budget, and it helps them to make good buying decisions. If they are taking their spending money and blowing it all the time, that doesn't teach them the other part of the finance world, which is how to spend wisely and how to budget. And budget's not a dirty word either. We will talk about that in another session. All right. Let's see. Do we have any questions so far, Kim? Is there anything out there? This is a good point to stop.
No, just people have been, oh, yes. What sort of work do you recommend for money with kids?
Awesome. That chore chart is a good place to start. Think about what you did as a kid. Think about how your parents taught you about money. If it was a responsible way, you feel like you have a good grasp on it, I say stay in that vein. If your parents are total terrible money managers, then yeah, go someplace else. We could probably do a whole parent conversation just on age appropriate chores for kids. Yes, I will give you access to that. And we have a Discovery Family Adventure that helps teach kids to work and give suggestions about paying them for that. Let's see. Kim, will you drop in the Discovery Family Adventures name and the passcode? If you haven't joined any of our discovery hunts on Goose Chase is a scavenger hunt app. I advise you to download Goose Chase, and you can look for Discovery Family Adventures, and it outlines all of the Discovery Family Adventures that we have, and Work and Responsibility is one of those adventures. It's got a lot more information on the website, but the mission in Goose Chase will lead you to the website for more information. Okay, so, all right, so what's required with work? Now, we talked about chores and tasks being age appropriate. And parents, I know it's probably just easier for like 2- and 3-year-olds to just, for any, well, actually probably any age, just to do it yourself. But that gives kids a bad message. It can send the message that they'll never measure up. So you need to give your kids the opportunities to rise to the challenge, and you need to have some grace with them, some patience with them, and let them learn from their own mistakes. Doing this in a controlled environment allows them to set themselves up for success, and you'll be guiding them. through the entire process, from the beginning of the chores through the chore itself. At the end, you need to give them verbal praise. They need to hear what a good effort they are sharing, not the outcome so much as the effort. So before, during, after, all about the effort, and it helps build their confidence for the next task. You want to keep going in this praise work cycle. A couple things to keep in mind. Start with just a couple chores at a time, maybe 2 chores or 3, and then as they kind of get into that, you can add a few more. But I wouldn't start with. I think 3 is kind of pushing it. I think 2 regular chores that they do to first get into learning to work and working with you at first, so you can show them how you'd like them to do it. Now, toddlers as old as 3 and 4, like I said, you're going to be tempted to just do it, but continue to praise their efforts all the way through. And you're probably going to be helping them with most of the work anyway, but keep praising them, tell them what a good effort that they're sharing. Work alongside them at first so they can see you do it. Invite them to join you. You'll want to help them master the small, easier things first, and then you can add tasks as seemingly fit. Now, when kids are a little bit older, have them help you make a chore list. Have them help you write the steps down. My mom is a little advanced in years. She'd probably kill me if she knew I said that, but she has somebody that will come and clean, and it's been frustrating for her because they kind of like, they'll dust around the things on the end table, and they need to learn to pick up every item on the end table and dust it, and probably dust the item itself too. Here I am, you can see me dusting my things on my end table, right? So you'll want to make maybe a checkoff list that they can follow. Okay.
Okay, you had another question.
Okay, let me hear it.
It says, what about when your kids don't want it enough to work for it? It seems like there's nothing my kids want bad enough to work for it. I can relate.
Yes, I understand. And I will, let me address that as I go on, because I want to talk about work and attitude, and I think those fit right in there, if that's okay, Tori. Okay, let's see. Is with little kids, especially with little kids, you need to make them see rewards immediately. You can't say, okay, you're getting paid a week from Tuesday. You need to pay them right then. So as soon as chores are done, even if it's quarters, you pay them, walk with them to their jars, put them in their separate, 3 jars, spend, save, and give jars. Perhaps this will work. Now, some kids aren't motivated by money, right? As we've said, it doesn't seem to matter. I think as kids get a little bit older and start realizing that they need money for hanging out with friends and stuff, I think that probably will shift, or might shift for most kids. It still might not for all. But I did some research, and the experts suggest maybe setting up like a reward activity. They didn't really even call it a reward activity. I'm looking at my notes. They just said, like, set up going out to dinner type of thing. And especially it was grades, looking at grades that came up with that. So Tori, I hope that answers a little bit. Is there something they really want to do? Some kind of behavior, something they, I don't know, skiing, something like that, that you said, hey, we'll set up a family ski day if we get these and these and these things done. Or I know that's a big one, but maybe something smaller along the way. It matters in your language too. You need to use, when you get such and such done, we will do this. I hope that helps. We could probably, like I said, do a whole nother parent conversation on getting kids motivated and getting adults motivated.
Janelle has a great suggestion. Yeah. I love that, Janelle, that have the kids be involved. Okay, you guys get your kids involved in determining the chores, determining, what's extra and how much they're going to get, or what the reward is. If money isn't their thing, it doesn't even, it doesn't have to cost money. Maybe it's an extra hour before bed or, before they have to go to bed. Or maybe it's that they get to choose, find that thing that is important to them, and that can be the reward. But great suggestion, Janelle. I love that. And we'll have some time at the end. We want to hear from all of you guys, the great things. You guys are sharing great information.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Chores aren't the only thing we need to help kids set up themselves to succeed at. Schoolwork and homework, people might consider them the same, but they're not necessarily the same thing. But that outline that Shirley shared that she read from Janelle, yes, that would work with homework and schoolwork as well. Paying for grades, I think it's a big to do. I was never paid for grades. I had friends that were, and in my opinion, I don't think parents should pay for grades. I would hope that parents would instill in the child to want to succeed enough and have the A be the reward itself. That's how I was. And maybe I just was I was naturally that way. I remember having a discussion with my sister when we were in high school or after high school. She said the reason she got grades in high school was so she could play sports. And I got good grades in high school because I wanted the good grade. Now I should have played sports, but that's another story for another time. We won't even go there. So, again, some experts agree that having like a celebration instead of a reward per se, but like a celebration. Hey, you got, a 3.5 on your report card on let's go out to eat. You pick the restaurant. So discuss that with your kids ahead of time. I like that idea.
Okay, you have another question.
Okay.
What tips do you have to get kids to do their non-paid chores?
I would suggest saying that those chores have to be done first. Any other ideas?
Well, the sentence that you used before is a great one. Basically that you will, when your toys are picked up, then we get to, whatever. So the when, then, and yeah, that can be, again, the things that are important to them. But the going outside to play, that's, when the bed is made, then we get to go outside and play. And just make it tied to the things that they want to do.
I worked with a lady, it's been 20 something years ago in organization. And she told a story that one time one of her kids went to school, and I guess the school was within walking distance, and he hadn't made his bed, and she called the school, and the school sent him home so he could make his bed. So it worked for that one. Oh, any other questions before I move on? We good?
Yeah, but Tori mentioned, this is a good one. I've never seen this. It says, we recently started planning a fun activity for our kids based on grades. If they get all B's or higher, they can take one friend. All A's, they can take two friends. So far, it is going well.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like it. Okay. So, with kids, I was thinking about how the areas that we need to teach them to work. I thought about, chores. I thought about homework and schoolwork. I couldn't really think about anything else, but I'm sure there are other avenues that we could probably look at. But I started thinking, what is required of parents? Now, parents, and I'm going to quote Rachel Cruz here, it's your responsibility to teach responsibility to your children. It's also your duty and privilege to teach your children to work. Now, in my opinion, kids that don't learn to work can become entitled adults. And we don't want that. That's not a desirable quality, entitlement. Unfortunately, we see a lot of it now. Not sure necessarily why, but learning to work can help. I personally think can help eliminate that entitlement mentality. Now, we've talked about what and why. Let's talk a little bit about how. Work done correctly the first time saves money and time later. If you do a poor job cleaning whatever it is you've got to clean, you're going to have to finish it later. And you're probably just going to have to go and start over and arguing about it. I have had personal experience with some of this. Heard my sister tell stories. She's like, if they would just do the job right the first time, they wouldn't have to come back and it would just go so much smoother. And I agree with that. A job well done is more than just being finished. It includes showing up on time, working when it's time to work. It includes a best effort. It's thorough, and it includes having a good attitude. When kids are old enough to have their own jobs outside the house. My first job was at McDonald's. Raise your hand if your first job was at McDonald's. Okay. They see 20% of the workforce started at McDonald's.
Mine was equally, it wasn't McDonald's, but it was equally Del Monte.
Well, there you go. Those 5 things, showing up on time, working when it's time to work, giving your best effort, being thorough, and having a good attitude are critical. So let's talk about the last one, especially working in attitude. Our attitude as adults toward work matters. Now, John Maxwell, who is a #1 New York Times bestseller, author, and coach, he's an author, coach, and speaker, there we go, said, the greatest day in your life and mine is when we take total responsibility for our attitudes. Attitude can make or break you in every area of your life. Then he said, that's the day we truly grow up. Now, just the other day, I was listening to a motivational speaker and YouTube personality by the name of Emily Freeman. And she said, work can exhaust us or exhilarate us. And I wrote that down really quick because I wanted to share it with you guys today. It's true. And I think we can be exhausted or exhilarated based on our attitudes about work. If we're happy about it, if we're grateful to be able to have the work, if we're grateful to be able to do the work physically and mentally and emotionally, I think that sets us above 90% of everybody else out there. Now, work can help provide us with a sense of purpose, and it's easier to work when we have kind of our own sense of purpose. Parents, you get to help your kids find a sense of purpose. And in doing so, you might develop your own sense of purpose. And you know what? Soon, we're going to have an adventure for that. Discovery Family Adventures, finding a purpose. I suggest, as far as purposes go, to think about what you really want out of life. And then formulate a plan to get there. I also suggest writing things down. I wanted to be debt-free. I was not always debt-free in my when I was a young mother and had young kids. It took me a while to get there. But I'll tell you, writing things down made them happen somehow, where otherwise I don't think they would have happened. And it's important, especially if you have a significant other, to plan those things together. What are our goals and dreams? Ask your kids, what are your goals and dreams? And write them down. That's basically the end of my presentation. I know we have a poll for you. If it hasn't gone out already.
I'll do it right now.
Kim's going to do it right now. Any other questions?
Yes, you had another question. It said, do you have any good ideas on how to teach and implement multiple rewards for multiple kids with different things they care about? My 8-year-old doesn't care about money. Other kids do. Is there any easy way to target needs and interests to most of them?
When you say most of them, if most of them are of the mindset that money works, then I'd go with that for most of them. And I would probably take that one child aside and figure out what works for that child. Now, if you have 8 kids and they're all different, that's going to be a lot of work. But
Meagan, can I address that?
Yes.
Because my kids were very much like that. And I think it's okay for kids to understand that we will treat children equally, but in order to do so, it will be differently. Okay. My kids were a perfect example of that. Okay. My boys, two of my boys really loved playing games on the Xbox games, that type of game thing. Okay. My daughter could care less. Okay. Now my daughter loved going to the park with her friends. She lived for that. If she didn't have the ability to go to the park with her friends, she would have died. Okay. And it's okay for kids to understand. I mean, my kids knew that, okay, that's what, Lauren's punishment, or I don't even like to call punishment, her, I said, what are they even called?
Consequence.
Consequence. There you go. Okay. Everyone knew that. I mean, Lauren's consequence would never be not having, TV time. I mean, that would mean absolutely nothing to her. She didn't want TV time. She didn't want, but going to the park with her friends, that was the thing that she lost. Okay. If the chores weren't done, the rules weren't followed. Okay. Lauren's consequence was that you don't go to the park with your friends. The boys, on the other hand, I mean, they could care less about the park. They never wanted to go to the park. They wanted to be in front of the TV. And so their consequence, both good and bad, was time on the, on the Xbox. When the chores were done, then they had, X amount of time. It's okay for kids to understand that we are all different. And in order to treat you equally, there will have to be different consequences. That's just the way that it is. So,
Any more questions? I hope we addressed them well enough. And if not, you can email me, Meagan, MEAGAN @mydiscoverydestination.com. And anything any feedback or anything, send it to me and I'll use it in our next parent conversation in this series. And I wish I could tell you off the top of my head what the subject was, but it's not coming to me.
And can you guys see the poll result?
yes, we were able
Okay.
to.
Yes.
Okay.
Does
And it looks
Melissa have a question? I see your
Melissa had
hand
a
raised.
question.
Oh, yes. Melissa.
Yes, I just actually going on along the lines of what is fair, like everyone's needs being different. Have you ever heard of the Band-Aid lesson?
No. Would you
So
share that with
it's-
us?
Yeah, it's something that I read a while ago, just teaching what is fair. A teacher had a problem with kids complaining, well, that's not fair. The student got this and I didn't get that. And if it gets noisy in a minute, my husband and child are coming in the door.
Okay.
So she grabbed a box of Band-Aids and said, okay, everybody pick an injury. And you're going to come up to me and tell me what your injury is. And one student says, well, okay, I have a scratch on my thumb. And so she put a Band-Aid on their forehead. Okay, that's weird. And then another student comes and says, I have a broken arm. And it kept going on and on and on. And she just kept putting the Band-Aids on their forehead. And so one student said, wait, that's not fair. My injury is over here, not on my forehead. And it taught them what fair actually means.
Makes sense.
Love that.
And now I got to go unlock the door. So that's the story.
Okay. So that
Okay, but
reminds me
stay
of
on, Melissa, because we have giveaways. Everybody stay
Yeah.
on for the giveaways.
I will for sure.
It reminds me of a it's not a cartoon, but maybe like a graphic that I saw that I'll get out and post next week about needs and inequality. And I won't describe it to you because I'll mess it up, but I just wrote that down. Yes, I was once told that a fair is where you go to see the pigs and horses, or pigs and cows, or something like that. So, yeah, I see Emily's got her hand raised.
Yes.
When you're ready, Emily.
Okay, there you go. I just wanted to say a little comment to go along with the chores. I'm a new mom, so I mean, I don't have a lot of experience at home, but when I was training to become a school teacher, my teacher I was studying underneath, she taught me that if you train the students right, your classroom will run itself. And I found that to be true, that if I really took the time to walk the students through their chores, because every student had a chore, then the classroom literally could run instant. And I am hoping I can implement that same to our home when our kids are old enough.
Nice.
Such a
Thank
good
you.
point. And something to go along with that is make sure that your kids understand what when they have a chore, we need to be really specific. You know, like when it's okay, clean up your room. Some kids don't necessarily understand that. Okay, to us, I mean, to me, clean up your room means when I walk in, the toys are going to be put away, the books are on the shelf, the bed is made. Okay, make sure that your kids understand what clean up your room means. Okay, is clean up your room, you know, that's get the books. I mean, make the chore be put your books back on your shelf. Okay, put the toys where they belong. So make sure that they understand. And the best way to do that is doing it with them the first few times. And again, that's going to be different depending on the age. Those chores are going to be very different. But yeah, make sure your kids understand what it is that you expect.
And along those lines, I remember when my oldest was, she had to be almost 4. Anyway, she was the only one, and there's 4 years between my oldest and number 2. So I remember trying to tell her, well, pick up your room. And she was old enough to understand, but I think she was just kind of overwhelmed. So we came up with a little plan, and I said, okay, why don't we pick up all the toys first? And we put the toys away. Okay, why don't we pick up, I don't know, clothes second and put them, you know, in the dirty clothes or wherever they went. Why don't we pick up the books third? And giving her steps, and it was like a light went on for me that she just didn't understand automatically how to do it. And I walked her through that process. So that was a learning process for me as a mom.
Yeah, which happens. Yep, learning as parents. Janelle has a comment. And then Emily, you'll be next.
This is just something I saw once, and it wouldn't work as well for me because my kids are still very low. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me take off my headset. Maybe you can hear better. But I have kids here, so it may be noisy.
Anyway, my kids are so this an idea once, and it may not work so well for me because my kids are still pretty little. But I walked into a house, and on the wall they had a chart, and the chart was the name of a chore, what was required, and money. And different ones had different amounts on it. And once they got done with their chore, they got to pick what they did and how much it was worth. And so that was an incentive for their older kids. My younger kids, they may pick a chore that they can't like physically do because they want the money attached to it. So it'd be a little harder. I may have to divide into 2 like chore charts, one for like younger and one for older, but like try to be equal, but you know, treat them differently but equal, and have money amounts according to their like skill set level. But I thought it was interesting that they had that they got to choose what they wanted and how much it was worth. It wasn't like a set thing. It's like, and when one disappeared, it would be replaced with something else. It was just extra things that needed done around the house each day and how much money was attached to them so that they got to choose that.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
I think that's perfect for, I mean, especially on those extra chores we talked about. So you have your chore chart that everybody makes their own bed or whatever. But then, yeah, you put, you know, if mom needs a particular chore done, she puts it out there, and the child that wants, you know, that wants the money and that amount of money, they, you know, the kids choose what they want to do. I think that's excellent. Meagan?
Yeah, was there somebody else that had a question? Was there another hand I missed?
No, Emily had already commented on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's all I have. Shirley, I'm going to kick it back to you because you made a comment about something we need
Yeah,
to
we're going to do some drawings. And if it's okay with Meagan and Kim, I've kind of determined how we're going to do the drawing this week because we hadn't really talked about that. One question that I need to find out before, I see 3 Melissas on here. We've got Melissa Alvey. Can you guys tell me who are the other 2 Melissas?
Well, I'm at Melissa Bowles is on here. Melissa Bowles, is that you? Is just the Melissa? Maybe.
Is there another?
Yeah, it
Melissa?
is.
Okay, is there another Melissa besides Melissa Bowles and Melissa Alvey?
My last name's Bremser.
Okay, I heard the B. What was the whole thing?
Bremser, Bremser.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so you guys, we have, and And team, you know, I love you, and I have, well, in fact, you know, we've already talked, and you guys have rewards. We have in here, from what I can see, we have 7 parents that are not part of our team. Let me read these off. And what I want to do, I really appreciate you guys being here, supporting us on our very first parent conversations. And I'd like to have each one of you, Tori.
Can you make sure that Laurie Stott is included in the giveaways?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. She's the one that tried to get on, and I don't know why we couldn't get her on.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
Thank
I'm
you.
going to read through the names that I have. And if there are any of you that I do not read your name and you are in here and not on our team, please let me know. So I've got Janelle Esplin, Lavinia, I hope I said that right, Lavinia, Shauna Grohl, Melissa Alvey, Casey Johnson, Catherine E., Melissa Bremser, and Laurie Stott.
So the name for Lavinia, my Zoom is just under my daughter's name. So Mia Howard. I don't know if that's on there as the group.
Perfect. Okay, Mia Howard. Excellent. Okay, and Mia, you were actually the first one in the group. And so you get to choose from these 3 items, you guys. We've got the Smart Money, Smart Kids, Financial Peace Junior, and the bank. Okay, I want each one of you to, you can just private message. Well, first of all, Mia, you get to choose which one you want.
Okay, I'll do the Smart Kids Junior.
The
Awesome.
Smart Kids Junior. Okay, great.
Yep.
This is for Mia. I want to have each of the rest of you, please private message me which ones you would like in the order. And I'm trying to think. We're gonna try to. I think we should be able to give everyone your first option. Please do go ahead and put them in order just in case. And if we need to, if we're not able to, to do everyone by their first preference, then I will actually do it by drawing. Okay, but each one of you that came today are going to earn, get a prize. We are so grateful for you being here. We really appreciate that. Did you have a comment, Tori?
Can you list those options again?
I'll do it.
So there's the Smart Money, Smart Kids, the Financial Peace Junior, and the Moon Jar Bank.
Okay, somebody's asking, what is the Smart Money Junior Kit?
Great question. So it's really fun. You know what? I have an open one somewhere that I used with my kids. Okay, so included in the kit, Junior's activity book, Junior's parent guide, dry erase chore chart, dry erase markers, pre-printed chore chart labels, give, save, and spend envelopes, and a launch pad poster and stickers. And then the bonus tools are a free Smart Money, Smart Kids ebook download. Okay, so actually, okay, that would explain why this one actually costs more than the Smart Money, Smart Kids. The free Smart Money, Smart Kids online video lessons. So yeah, this is actually, okay, can you guys see that? You guys, this is actually a real, yeah, this is the real bargain. You basically get this within this on a digital version. So.
We also have somebody ask if they join the replay, are we going to be able to do a drawing from those that watch the replay? Do we know how? I don't know how that works. If we can see who watched it or not.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. There won't necessarily be for today, because for today, we still need to determine kind of how they're all being given away. We do want to reward people for watching them, but you guys, we really would love to have people live too, because we love your feedback. So there will be a much higher chance of winning a prize for being here live. There will be some giveaways for, listening to it later as well, but the majority of the prizes will be given away live. And we would really appreciate if you guys would help us spread the word, tell your friends about it. And we really want these parent conversations to be beneficial to our families. And, of course, for grant purposes too, the grant's going to want to see that we're reaching as many parents as possible. So please help us spread the word. We really appreciate that. But yeah, we'll figure out, stay connected to your group, your local group, wherever that is, for all of the details on kind of how this will work. But for today, we're going to give each one of you a prize for being here live. So that will pretty much be it for this week. But definitely please encourage your friends to listen to the replay and enjoy the benefits and whatnot.
Yep, I've put in the chat to have everybody send you a message. You're not the host, right? Or are
No,
you?
I'm the host.
Okay.
Yeah, they're sending it directly to me.
Awesome.
I'm getting those messages. So
And
I'll
although
let you guys go ahead and finish up while I actually get this information, because we're going to have to close the room. We have another meeting starting at 2.
yeah.
So, but
And-
don't close it yet, because I need these messages.
while I'll be kind of your presenter for the next 3 more weeks, I promise I am not going to be your expert on every subject we talk about. So you will get to meet other people.
Oh yeah, you guys, we have got some awesome experts planned. You're gonna love some of the people that we bring in. And the topics. And again, tell us the topics that you want, and we will find experts on those. Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you hear from each of the those attending that want a prize?
Tori just needs to let us know what Lauren wanted. Stop.
Okay. Tori, we'll ask Tori that in our 2 o'clock meeting.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. Like I said, email me if you have any suggestions, comments, questions I did not fully answer. Meagan, MEAGAN @mydiscoverydestination.com. I should put that down here.
Okay, and you guys, did everyone? Okay, yes, I think I got both. Casey and Janelle, have I heard?
Casey just messaged and she wants to talk to her husband first. She wants to let you know later.
Perfect, Casey. You know what, you guys, my email address, you can always contact me at Watson, WATCSON, @mydiscoverydestination.com. So thank you very much. And then let's see. And Janelle, did I hear from you, Janelle? Oh, there we go. Yes, I got that.
Did you get mine? Okay.
Let's see. Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I think I've got everybody's here. And then Casey, you're going to let me know. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Please help us spread the word. And you guys, thank you for being part of My Discovery Destination. We love what we do, and we love it because of you. So thank you very much. Bye, everybody.